up next on Hooten's Arkansas football. Highlights from the first round of the high school playoffs, including Lake Hamilton at Conway, Lone Oak against Oak Grove, and the Cabot Panthers against Russellville. Plus, we'll take you down to Dumas to meet the Marine Scholar Athlete of the Week, and over to Bologna to introduce our Coleman Kid of the Week. All of that, highlights of more than half of last night's games, and updated Hooten's rankings. We've got playoff fever, and you'll catch it next on Hooten's Arkansas football.
Let's take it to him!
You stuck it to him and you won it!
This is our time of the year.
Check this out.
For the high school football fan, it's just like Christmas time. The playoffs are here, and 96 teams dreaming of winning a state championship kicked off the postseason last night. We have highlights coming up in the next 30 minutes on Hooten's Arkansas football of a whole bunch of the games. In fact, video from 25 matchups from the first round. And we'll begin with highlights from the first round of the playoffs in Class 2A, brought to you by State Farm. And we'll begin up at Charleston, where the top-ranked Tigers were letting their horse run free against the Ola Mustangs. Drew Hill with an 18-yard gain, and Charleston coach Shane Story loves his junior running back. He'll call his number again, and Hill sees the hole in the middle of Ola's defense. He takes it in 15 yards for the score. Charleston's up 7-zip. There will be more fireworks from Hill. Just a few minutes later, Hill is headed 78 yards on this punt return. Hill has totaled more than 1,200 yards offense this season. Charleston is up 14-zip. On Charleston's third series, it's Hill again, scoring for the third time in the first quarter. It's his 13th touchdown of the season. Moments later, Charleston will score its fourth touchdown in 8 minutes. Quarterback Matt Stewart takes it around the end. The sophomore signal caller picking them up, putting them down, and Charleston led 28-0. Ola would finally get on the board with quarterback Bubba Noakes taking it to the house, but it was too little, too late. Final score, Charleston 63, Ola 7. The Northwood Leopards were making their first playoff appearance since 1980, and a nice crowd followed Northwood up to fourth-ranked Risen. But Risen led 17-0 in the second quarter when junior quarterback Aaron Terry takes off for a 27-yard touchdown. The route was on. Moments later, junior Wayne Wainwright fields a short punt, and he's gone. 60 yards. Risen led this one 44-zip at halftime. The final, Wildcats 58, Northwood nada. We think those were the Hampton Bulldogs at All-Timer last night. It was all-timer in the third quarter when junior quarterback Stephen Barnett hits classmate LaMarcus Hudson. 42-yard Red Devil touchdown. All-timer was in control, 14-3. Hampton tried to rally, though. Senior quarterback Derek Sanders connects with Wiley Bland for a 44-yard touchdown, but All-Timer would put it away in the fourth quarter. Barnett freezes the safeties with a pump fake and lofts it toward Hudson for the score. All-Timer pulls off the upset. Final score, Red Devils 20, Hampton 15.
This is a storybook season. Let's keep it going. It's us against the world, guys.
No, we're not satisfied. We ain't satisfied till it's over. And I think we're going to pull it out next week in Girton. We're going to fool folks with these 18 players.
The 4AA champion Hector Wildcats were undefeated in playing host to number 4 seed Mountainburg. Neither team enjoyed much success on offense. This run by Hector sophomore quarterback Corey Small was the biggest play in the first quarter. Early in the second quarter, Small hands it to senior Michael Bedlin for Hector's only score of the night, as Mountainburg quarterback Dylan Carr managed tough yards, and the Dragons defense calls 3 second-half turnovers to upset Hector. Final score, Mountainburg 13, Hector 6. The Little Rock Christian Warriors were trying to keep the 4AA from going 0-4 in the first round, but last night at Elkins, the Christians met the Finkus family. First, it's Elkins junior Ryan Finkus rumbling 46 yards for the score. Elkins was up 13-0. Then Ryan Finkus intercepts Drew Johnson, And a few plays later, Elkins will score. It's Josh Pincus this time, diving into the end zone. Josh totaled 140 yards. Elkins had more than 400 yards offense. Final score, Elkins Elks 21, Little Rock Christian 0. Bauxite and Mineral Springs jump-started the playoffs, playing their first-round matchup on Thursday night at the Pit. Bauxite got plenty of help from Mineral Springs with 7 turnovers. After Kevin Carr makes the interception for Bauxite, quarterback Zach Dunlap finds Dustin Jones wide open for a 22-yard touchdown. Dunlap also took a quarterback keeper for a touchdown on the first play of the game and added this 78-yard romp in the fourth quarter to make the final score Bauxite 34, Mineral Springs 0.
Great work. We got another tough one next week. Step number 2. Good work, guys. Great work.
I really wasn't expecting us to go 10-0. I mean, I knew we had a good team. Those first 5 games or so, it showed what we were about.
7 teams in Hooten's Arkansas football 2A top 20 lost last night. Charleston stays on top. Then it's Junction City, Barton, and Rison. Those 3 had a little trouble last night. Elkins moves up to number 5 after the 4AA top dogs, Hector and Danville, lost last night. Number 6 is Bauxite. The Miners will play host to Elkins next week in an interesting matchup. Jesseville is next, followed by Pea Ridge, which almost beat Charleston last week and knocked off Danville Friday night. The Blackhawks will travel 300 miles over to Palestine Wheatley. There's Lafayette County and Hughes. Glen Rose rallied from a 21-0 halftime deficit to beat Gurdon 22-21. Cross County won its first playoff game since 1984. That was the season when Wayne Martin and the Thunderbirds won the state championship, beating Rison in the finals. And guess where the T-Birds are headed next week? To Rison. Palestine Wheatley jumps up to 13, followed by Gurdon and surprising all-timer Gillette moves up to number 16 after whipping Bearden. Mountainburg, the number 4 seed from the hard-nosed 1AA, just stuck at 2 Hector last night. The Wildcats, Danville, and Mount Ida round out the top 20.
Now, the United States Marines present the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Dumas two-way star Paige Gill bangs heads at tight end, but prefers playing linebacker. He also has a strong nose for academics, posting a 3.85 GPA and scoring a 28 on his ACT.
I have to win in everything, be it school, football, things at home, everything. And I love the competitiveness. Even we're out there practicing. It doesn't matter if I'm on the scout team or the first team. My side's got to win.
Congratulations to Paige Gill, a deserving winner of the Marine Scholar Athlete of the Week.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe Pequeno, and congratulations to Paige Gill. The Bobcats had a great season this year, made it to the playoffs, and last night pulled off the upset at Ashdown. Coming up next, more of Hooten's Arkansas football. Class 3A highlights are straight ahead.
Comfort is knowing college will be there for them, and knowing you can look forward to the day you retire. And comfort is knowing the same State Farm agent who helped you plan for just in case can help you with what could be.
We live where you live.
For help with banking, insurance, and investing.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, I'm Hallie from Lake Hamilton High School, and you're watching Hooten's Arkansas football. Go Wolves!
Brought to you by Sonic.
Nobody gonna hand it to us. We're gonna have to earn it. If we want it, 4 quarters. And you know how we played this year. 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, 2nd half football team.
Coach Van Pascal and the DeQueen Leopards traveling to Star City with upset on their minds in the first round. And on their opening drive, senior quarterback Trey Williams finds junior Kirby Atkins for the touchdown, and DeQueen was up 7-0. Star City came back in a hurry, though, with a good kickoff return, and it would set up a 35-yard touchdown run by senior Nick Tinsley, and the Bulldogs roll to their 10th win of the season. Final score, Star City 35, DeQueen 7. The Central Arkansas Christian Mustangs and Dover Pirates meeting for the 2nd straight year in the first round. Junior quarterback Jesse Gates celebrated his birthday, completing 11 out of 16 passes for 168 yards, 6 touchdowns, all in the first half. Ellis Copeland got the first one, and Zach Fortner would catch 3 passes, all of them going for touchdowns. The Mustang defense was awesome also, limiting Dover to just 16 yards rushing in the first half. The Mustangs were up 41-0 at the break, and CAC cruises to its first playoff win in school history. Final score 11-0, CAC 48, Dover 19. Roy and Bro, the Atkins broadcast team. Those guys always have a lot of fun watching Atkins' workhorse, Daniel Hartley, bull his way over opponents Friday night against Mariana. Hartley totaled 93 yards, and Atkins' defense was stingy, forcing 4 turnovers. After the big hit by sophomore Justin Avery, another sophomore stud, Jonathan Cathy, tries to scoop and score. He can't quite get a handle on it, but the Red Devils handled the Trojans with ease. Final score, undefeated Atkins 34, Mariana 0. Just down I-40 from Atkins to Oak Grove, where the Hornets were playing host to Lone Oak, and the Hornet defense buzzing in the first half, shutting down Lone Oak's running attack. Oak Grove's offense would sting the Jackrabbits. Terry Owens takes the handoff, fools everyone, and the defense can't find him until about 30 yards later in the end zone. Oak Grove then chewed the clock up with junior fullback Darren McFadden. He rushed for 205 yards. He's just 20 yards shy of 2,000 now. Final score, Hornets 35, Lone Oak 6. Pulaski Academy is in the playoffs for the 5th straight season, and last night the Bruins playing host to the Dardanelle Sand Lizards. PA taking charge in the second quarter. Bo Rhodes, you gotta love this guy. That put PA up 28-6, and it could have been worse. The Bruins would eventually put the mercy rule on Dardanelle and advance to the second round. Final score, Pulaski Academy 49, Dardanelle 22. And we'll wrap up our AAA coverage at Newport, where the Piggott Mohawks were about to be scalped. Newport junior fullback Hunter Smith carried 11 times for 151 yards, including this nice gain. That would set up junior tailback Stevie Arnold for the score. He had 2 touchdowns. Newport led 28-7 and never looked back. Final score, Newport 56, Piggott 7.
It feels real good to win. To come out here and get this victory, I mean, woo. It puts us in the second round of the playoffs, I'll tell you that.
Central Arkansas Christian still on top in Hooten's Arkansas football Class 3A rankings. The Mighty Mustangs are 11-0. Rivercrest is number 2. The Colts have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Pulaski Academy covered our 25-point spread last night. Star City welcomed the Hooten's cameras again last night, and the Bulldogs are headed for the second round. Atkins is undefeated, and the Red Devils will play host to Speedy Newport next week. There's the Curly Wolves and Waldron. Ozark has won 8 games this year, and the Hillbillies will travel across the state to play Rivercrest. Newport's number 9, and Gosnell's back in the top 10 after handling the Yeovil Summit. Prairie Grove checks in at number 11. Then it's Shiloh. The Saints look like they could make a serious run at the semifinals. Oak Grove's 13. The Nashville Scrappers threw a touchdown pass on the final play of the game to upend Warren. EPC shocked undefeated Pocahontas last night, and the Warriors finished 5th in the 3 AAA. Ashdown's number 17. Then it's Warren. Pocahontas drops all the way to 19, and Booneville rounds out the top 20. Coming up next, more of Hooten's Arkansas football. Class 4A highlights are straight ahead.
Yeah! You guys offer chili?
Everybody in the playoffs starts off undefeated. Not anybody any better or any worse right now in the playoffs. You only get one chance.
Coach Jim Escola and Pulaski Robinson undefeated during the regular season. Early on, Robinson sticking to its bread and butter at senior fullback Joe Mason, going right up the gut, 65 yards. Robinson was up 7-0. On its next possession, Robinson will get it to Mason, and Mason gets it and heads toward the sideline, rumbling and stumbling all the way down inside the 10-yard line. The Senators would punch it in from there, made it 14-0 in the first quarter. Paragould would make this thing close, but the Senators are tough at home. Final score, Robinson 21, Paragould 14. Playoff Warriors Alma traveled to Sylvan Hills last night in a rematch of last year's semifinal game that Sylvan Hills won. Sophomore quarterback Joseph Medeiros throwing some pretty passes, and that sets up Wesley Wagner getting low and into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Airedales are hitting stride just in time for another postseason run. Final score, Alma 34, Sylvan Hills 21. The Hope Bobcats, the number 4 seed from the Southwest, up at Batesville for a first-round game. Batesville looking for his first ever playoff win, but Hope barely got off the bus when Isaac Delaney takes the opening kickoff 89 yards for the score. That has happened to Batesville the past 2 weeks. But the Pioneers would respond in a big way, scoring 42 of the next 45 points in this blowout. Junior tailback Tim Childress ran for 3 of those touchdowns and 148 yards on just 9 carries. And the Pioneers remain undefeated. Final score, Batesville 42, Not Much Hope 10. The Vilonia Eagles playing at home in the playoffs for the first time in 6 years Friday night. Fired up for the Hot Springs Lakeside Rams, and Vilonia going to work. Josh McIntyre, he'll scoot around the end for a short touchdown. That put Vilonia up 7-0, but Lakeside would tie it up in the second quarter. Daniel Atkinson's short run made it 7-7, but that's as close as Lakeside would get. Final score, Eagles 28, Lakeside 7. And here is a look at Hooten's Arkansas football Class 4A rankings. The Golden Goblins stay on top. Harrison is 11-0. Batesville is also unbeaten after handling Hope on Friday night. And Crosset is 11-0. The Eagles are flying high, headed into the second round. Pulaski Robinson is also 11-0, but the Senators were pushed last night by Paragould. Vilonia cracks the top 5. The Eagles are headed to Crooked Creek to face Harrison next week. Stuttgart is the defending state champs. The Ricebirds will not go down without a fight. Wins number 7 this week, then it's Alma. The Airedales are headed for the second round of the playoffs again and will be favored over Pulaski Robinson. Greenwood's number 9, and then it's Whitehall. Sylvan Hill starts the second 10, followed by Arkadelphia. The Badgers were undefeated the first 7 weeks of the season, but lack of tradition caught up with Arkadelphia last night. Hot Springs Lakeside's 13, then it's the Devil Dogs and Paragould. West Helena, the Cougars were the last team to beat Stuttgart. The Marion Patriots and Malvern Leopards round out the top 20.
Now, Coleman Dairy presents the Coleman Kid of the Week.
The Vilonia Eagles won 9 games during the regular season, their best season in a decade. And with quarterback Nick Calger and running back Josh McIntyre returning next year for their senior season, Vilonia should be exciting in 2004 as well. McIntyre returned a kickoff 85 yards for a touchdown against BB and broke this run for another score against the Badgers. He totaled more than 1,200 yards offense and 11 touchdowns during the regular season. Josh McIntyre, he's Vilonia's big play man, and he's our Coleman Kid of the Week. Coming up next, more hard-hitting highlights. A recap of Class 5A is next. You're watching Hooten's Arkansas football.
Red Fina.
And we'll begin our Class 5A coverage with the defending state champs, Southside Rebels, playing host to dangerous West Memphis out of the East. Fort Smith Southside banged up, but still a favorite, but this one was all Blue Devils. Eugene Edwards goes 18 yards for the score. West Memphis was up 7-0. Then the Blue Devils inflicted a lot of pain, as in All-State fullback Kyle Payne. The senior ripped off a season-high 278 yards, and West Memphis shocked Southside. Final score, Blue Devils 35. The defending state champ Rebels 0. At Fayetteville, senior quarterback Woody Wilson back on the sidelines and in pads playing host to Pine Bluff. But would Woody be effective after injuring his knee a couple of weeks ago? Nothing wrong with Pine Bluff's defense, that's for sure, nor the Zebras' tailback, Martell Mallett. He breaks tackles on his way to the end zone. Pine Bluff was up 7-0. Pine Bluff added to that lead with this 42-yard field goal by Addison Dunn. But Fayetteville would rally in the third quarter to take a 13-10 lead, but a pair of late fumbles would doom the Purple Dogs. Final score, Pine Bluff 23, 5A West co-champ Fayetteville 20. At Benton Friday night, the Panthers making their first playoff appearance since 1997 and moving the ball early on Springdale, but Josh Curtis will fumble at the end of the play. The rest of the night belonged to Springdale. Quarterback Brandon Martinez hooks up with Andrew Norman on the sideline. That sets up Zach Butler's 8-yard touchdown run, and Springdale never looked back as Butler rushed for a career-high 244 yards and 3 touchdowns to end a fine season in Benton. Final score, Springdale 41, Panthers 0. Little Rock Central had lost at home in the first round of the playoffs the past 2 years. Friday night, the Tigers looking to avoid another letdown against Searcy. And Central would go to the air early and often. Junior quarterback Clark Irwin passed for 3 touchdowns, including 2 to Stuart Franks, and Central was up 21-0. Central's defense was stiff as always, led by Fred Bledsoe and Antoine Thomas. They clamped down on the Searcy running attack and stand out Weston Dacus. And Central advances to the second round with ease. Final score from Quigley Stadium, Tigers 35, Searcy 0. The Cabot Panthers have been to the playoffs 13 straight seasons, so they should know better than this. The East Conference champs fumbling away to the number 4 seed from the 5A West Russellville, and the Cyclones make them pay. Nathan Brown to Mackenzie Embry, and the Cyclones are up 7-0. Cabot would answer, though. Chris Robertson bust loose for a 30-yard touchdown run. This ties it up at 7, but Russellville's defense stiffened as Cabot loses at home in the playoffs to a member from the West for the 3rd straight season. Final score, Cyclones 48, Cabot 28. Conway playing host to Lake Hamilton last night at John McConnell Stadium. Conway was up 3-0 when Seth Irons picks off a Lake Hamilton pass, and a few plays later, Peyton Hillis will pick up the touchdown. That put Conway up 10-0. But Lake Hamilton would answer. Andrew Davis scored on a couple of touchdown runs, and Lake Hamilton actually led this thing 15-10 at halftime, but Hillis and Wardlow would both finish with more than 200 yards for the first time this season, and Conway is headed for the second round. Final score, Wampus Cats 39, Lake Hamilton 15. And here's a look at Hooten's Arkansas football updated Class 5A rankings. The team that started number 1 was back on top, Springdale. Next week, they will play at Little Rock Central. The Tigers are undefeated. In fact, all 4 of our top teams will play each other. Russellville is headed for a rematch with Conway. West Memphis has literally obliterated its last 4 opponents. The Blue Devils started the season ranked number 3. They're back in the top 5 this week. Pine Bluff moves up to number 6 after winning at Fayetteville. Southside finished the season with multiple injuries and falls to number 8. Little Rock McClellan is in the top 10 after winning at Jonesboro. The Crimson Lions will take on Pine Bluff next week. Cabot starts the second 10. The Panthers lost 3 games by big margins this year. Then it's Lake Hamilton, the Hurricane, Bentonville, and Bryant moving up to number 15 after knocking off Camden Fairview. The Benton Panthers finished the year at number 17. Then it's Searcy, Texarkana, and El Dorado to round out the top 20. Thanks again for watching Hooten's Arkansas football tonight. We look forward to seeing you again next week when we'll have highlights from the second round of the playoffs. And we look forward to seeing you again next week right here at the same time for Hooten's Arkansas football.
Hello, I'm Pastor